Hello and welcome back to the Euro Roundup where, yes, as always, we'll be looking at the highs and lows from across the continent. Pato, we start with Real Madrid. They beat Leganes 3-0. Tell me a little bit more about the game.
Look, AS had a headline the day after the game saying, Bale rules here. Ooh. So we've got to ask, has he taken over from Cristiano Ronaldo as the Prince of Madrid? In 93 starts for Los Blancos, Bale has 53 goals and a 71% win record.
Oosh.
In contrast, Ronaldo didn't have a shot on target in this game. That's the first time that's happened to him this season. The last time was back in February. Are we starting to see the
elite
decline
stat alert
of the great man? But look, Bale in this game was on fuego. He had 8 shots, 2 take-ons, 1 key pass, only 1 tackle and interception. Doesn't do a lot of defensive work. What do you want? Cristiano Ronaldo, on the other hand, who we've always known as a shot monster, taking more shots than anybody else in Europe, had just 3 in this game.
Bale was very much in his turf, wasn't he?
Yes.
All up in Ronaldo.
Yes, yes, and now he's in incredible form as well. He scored as many goals in his last 2 appearances as he had in the previous 11. So perhaps there was a little Euros hangover, but now Gareth Bale is taking off, and Real Madrid are going to need him to keep that form if they want to go all the way this season.
Well, we discussed form, Pato. What about the other guys in this Real Madrid squad? People who were on the peripheries last season, like Isco, like Kovacic, like Morata, they all played a massive part in this game. Did you see that ball from Isco?
It was filth. It was
my God, that was filth. Only his 2nd assist of the season, though. Pablo Piatti has 5 and he plays for Espanyol. So, more of that, please, Isco. Kovacic retained his place over Modric after that really good outing against Legia Warsaw in the Champions League. He played really well. He got 4 tackles and he completed 4 dribbles in an all-action performance I have down here, Pato. That is lovely. Alvaro Morata got a goal and an assist. He only had 2 shots all game. That is prolific. He looks like he's causing some sort of headaches for Zidane in terms of who does he play. Does he play Benzema? Does he play Morata? Who would you prefer, guys? Let us know in the comments below. And here's another stat here for you, elite stat. Zidane now has 80 points in his first 31 games as Madrid boss.
Wow.
That is an all-time record. Boom.
Unbelievable stuff. But can Real Madrid go all the way? Can they win the title? Let us know in the comments below. For our first loser, we head over to the red side of Madrid as Atletico went down 2-0 away at Real Sociedad.
They certainly did, Pato, and it was thanks to 2 penalties from the penalty machine that is Carlos Vela and Willian Jose. They're actually outshot aside from that, though. Sociedad created 12 chances to Atleti's 9, so it wasn't just because of the spot kicks. This was a very competitive game, and Sociedad really took it to La Rojiblancos. Could have been very, very different though, Pato.
Yeah.
Kevin Gamero went through early doors 1-on-1, chipped it, managed to get it over the goalkeeper, but hit the fucking post. Now this was a game defined by mistakes as well. You have Gabby, aka Mr. Miyagi, coming in, conceding that first penalty, tackling someone at waist high. It was obscene. It was like something that you'd see Football Daily do on a Sunday afternoon. Pato, please tell me more about the game, because I've run out of information.
Look, well, Carlos Vela, like you said, he is a penalty machine. He scored 9 out of 9 in La Liga. Maybe Griezmann, Messi and Neymar should take some lessons from him. In fact, only 3 players have taken more penalties than Vela without missing a single one. But look, this was a bad day at the office for Atleti. They've now had 2 away losses in a row in La Liga. That's the first time that's happened since February 2014. This is also the first time they lost a game by 2 or more goals in 21 months. Oof. That was against Celta Vigo. So clearly they do not like visiting the north of Spain. And perhaps what we're seeing is a little hangover from European football. We've seen it from a lot of the big clubs. We saw it certainly in the Premier League this week.
The clubs who have
Champions League games struggle, and Atleti had that grindy win over Rostov in midweek, and it may have hurt them in some way.
And conversely, the clubs who don't, you look at Liverpool, you look at Chelsea, they're absolutely flying. Now, is Champions League football affecting your club, or should they just get a f***ing grip? Let us know in the comments below. Let's head over to the Bundesliga now, Pato, for our next winners, where in a Euro Roundup first, ooh, exciting, we've actually picked different winners. I've gone for Hoffenheim, who drew 1-1 with Bayern at the Allianz Arena.
I've gone for Hertha Berlin, who won 3-0 over Borussia Mönchengladbach.
Well, let me tell you a little bit more about Hoffenheim first before you get carried away with Solomon Kallou's balmy army, because I know you're fascinated, mate. In this game, Hoffenheim actually only had 5 shots in comparison to Bayern's 22. But they also scored at both ends of the pitch in what was a very wasteful performance from Bayern's attack. Demirbay for Hoffenheim was clearly man of the match. He opened the scoring, only for Steven Zuber to score an own goal 15 minutes later. Now, he was hugely influential, as I say, Dembele. Only Douglas Costa equalled the same amount of dribbles as the 23-year-old, who now has 3 goals, 2 assists in 8 Bundesliga performances for Julian Nagelsmann's side. Now, since Julian Nagelsmann's taken over, let me tell you a little bit more about this guy. He's 29, he's 5 years older than me, 5 years younger than Pat, and he's already transformed a top side. In the last 23 games, only Bayern and Borussia Dortmund have surpassed him in terms of results. Now, Hoffenheim were relegation candidates when this guy took over. He likes to deploy a high press, and what he's changed most about the side is they play it very fluidly. He changes each formation to suit each game, and more often than not, in the actual game itself. It's insane. And forgot to say that defensive midfielder Rudy also had a great game, relieving the pressure on the back 3 by completing 3 dribbles and 6 tackles. Over to you, Pat.
Right, well, if we've got any viewers left after that northern ramble, Hertha Berlin put in a great performance. Now, Gladbach actually had a similar number of chances then, but Salomon Kalou bagged a hattie from just 3
Salomon Kalou's Barmy Army.
Now, manager Paul Dardai employs this 4-2-3-1, and he uses Weiser on the right, and Weiser, clearly the man of the match. Dispossessed the opposition 4 times, won 3 aerial duels, and actually had 5.2% of his team's total possession, all from a wide position. Haraguchi on the other wing also made 2 tackles. That really shows the way that they pressed up and dealt with the opposition. And matters were made easier after Christoph Kramer was sent off for Gladbach after just 34 minutes. Though, by that point, Andre Schubert's team were already 2-0 down. Now, if you check the heat maps...
Oh, heat maps? That's another Euro roundup first.
We love to do. Most of Borussia's play was kind of coming down the right wing, thanks to Lars Stindl, but he was really marshalled by Brooks and Mittelstadt. They completed 5 tackles between them. They just closed the door on a man who was very influential, I thought, in that Champions League game against Celtic.
Yeah, Stindl was their standout performer.
Yes, indeed. A very impressive performance from Hertha, a really good win from them. Let's see where they can end up this season. Next up in our losers category are Manchester City. What's that you say? A little bit harsh to include them after a 3-1 win over Barcelona in midweek. Shut up. They dropped 2 points against Middlesbrough,
prisoners,
displaying that European hangover we've been talking about. Now, they took a lead in the first half. KDB whipped in a delicious ball, and Aguero got in the back, as Chris likes to, and just tapped it into the waiting net. But in injury time in the second half, they conceded a sloppy equaliser after Darun made a sensational rune to the back post.
Nailed it. Ding!
And nodded it in past Claudio Bravo. Couldn't do a thing about it. But they shouldn't have even had a chance to equalise. Aguero should have put it beyond them in that second half. Jesus Navas, of all people, with a sensational cutback in the box, found Aguero 12 yards out, unmarked, and uncharacteristically spooned it straight over the bar. Now, was this just tiredness? Was it bad luck? What was it? Look, City had 71% of possession. They had 25 shots to Borough's 5. They had 7 shots on target to Borough's 3. That's right, they had more shots on target in this game than Borough had altogether. But Middlesbrough did come with a game plan, didn't they, Christoph?
Borough did counter at pace, you're right, as they did against Arsenal. Adama Traore has proved a handful for anyone he's played against this season. And Negredo had a naughty little effort saved by Claudio Bravo from the halfway line. Would love to have seen that gone in. Man City now, Pato, wait for this, have failed to keep a clean sheet in 9 of their 11 Premier League games under Pep Guardiola.
Rough.
No solidity at the back there. And although I just slagged Sergio Aguero off, he's now scored against 28 of the 30 teams he's faced in the Premier League. And he scored 150 goals in 223 appearances. So, whilst Man City might be a loser, Aguero seemingly is always a winner. What did you think to the game? Bit pants, to be honest, but let us know in the comments below if you thought otherwise. Moving on. Right, now we're going to do a bit of a triple header, Pato, where both our winners and losers come from Ligue 1. We're going to dive straight into Monaco, Pat. They're our first winners. You would know, having co-wrote the script. They beat second bottom Nancy 6-0. 6-0, meaning they've scored 9 goals in a week, of course, after that drubbing of CSK Moscow in the Champions League. They are now the highest goal scorers in Ligue 1 with 36. That is 12 more than the free scoring PSG, which, after 12 games, is the best tally at this stage since St Etienne in 1969/70, where they scored 44 power. But who scored all the goals? Because it's a little bit of a rejuvenation, isn't it?
It is indeed. It's Radamel Falcao.
Oh,
he
Le
captains the
Tigre.
side. He captains the side, and he's actually got 4 out of those 9 goals this week. Now, the first one was a simple header. The second was a penalty after Fabinho was tripped in the box, which was news to me because I thought Fabinho had moved to Man United because I paid attention to transfer talk back in August.
Big mistake.
But look, he went off after 72 minutes, and Carrillo came on, and he grabbed himself a brace as well. But look, the guy who really impressed me was Tiémoué Bakayoko, the central midfielder.
You are a big fan of his.
I love that guy. He's the linchpin in Jardim's side. He completed 5 tackles, 3 dribbles, and dispossessed the opposition another 2 times. Really impressive stuff. He's actually the guy who you should have bought instead of Jeffrey Kondogbia into Milan. He's a quality player. But look, where does this leave Monaco? They're second. That's where they are. They're level with PSG on points, but they're actually ahead of them on goal difference. They've got the best goal difference in the division, and they're just 3 points behind Nice.
Check this out for a segue as well. 3 points behind Nice. Nice happens to be our first losers, Pat. Oh, nailed it. Let's go straight into it. I'm going to do Nice. Pato, you are doing
Marseille.
Let's start this off.
Pointing it to me.
Nice lost to Cayenne 1-0, and they were totally outplayed by Patrice Garan's men, who created 3 times as many opportunities as them. So this wasn't just a smash and grab, Pato. Rodein was undoubtedly man of the match for Cayenne, completing a monstrous 6 dribbles. That is big boy numbers, as Lucien Favre's Nice could only manage hitting the crossbar, and that was from a frustrated Mario Balotelli. Pat, my biggest surprise was seeing Steve Malbranc come on for the final 10 minutes.
Malbranc played.
I thought he was in a catacomb somewhere,
Jesus.
dusting himself off, and it could have been much worse for Nice. Their goalkeeper, Cardinal, had to make 6 saves. So this was a fairly emphatic 1-0, regardless of how close it may have looked. This is Nice's first loss of the campaign, Pat, and as bad as it is for them losing, director just dropped his pen. Who else is in worse dire straits?
You're a f***ing idiot, Zach.
You were fine.
Enough of that bullshit. Let's head over to Marseille. Well, actually, to Montpellier, where Marseille lost 3-1 this weekend, thanks to a brace from Boudebouz and a third from Stephen Mooney. Now, Mooney,
Stephen Mooney.
he was incredible up front in this game. Like, won a huge number of headers.
Mate,
It's reminiscent of the days when
50p head.
50p. Reminiscent of the days when Olivier Giroud was up front for Montpellier when they won the league title.
Still play a very similar system, don't they?
Pretty much. And Mooney won 8 aerial duels in this game. To put that in perspective, Rolando and Doria, who are the centre-backs for Marseille, could only manage half that amount put together.
More elite stuff.
Now, one guy caught my eye in defensive midfield. It was Elias Shkri, who won 6 tackles, really enabling the team to push upfield. He just mopped everything up in that midfield zone. He is indeed. But the guy who was terrible in this game, Clinton Ng, on loan from Tottenham Hotspur. Now, he's known for his extreme pace. He's also known for occasionally being a little bit of a headless chicken. And in this game, he really struggled to get at Montpellier centre-back Hilton. Now, Montpellier centre-back Hilton is 40 years old. And Clinton Ng, a pace monster, couldn't cause him any problems at all.
Anything.
He could have had his pipe in and his slippers on in this game. It was unbelievable. But anyway, that leaves the two teams in pretty dire straits. They're down in 12th and 13th. They're both on 14 points. Marseille just edging ahead on goal difference. One of the giants of French football reduced to mid-table at best. Terrible times.
C'est pas bon.
What?
So that is the end of the show. Pato wants to go home. He doesn't feel very well. Should he? Let us know in the poll just there. And if you enjoyed this video, feel free to watch our top 10 from the weekend, which should be playing somewhere on screen. Pat, and as ever,
don't forget to like and subscribe if you want more of this quality stuff.